Hello everybody, GamerZ here, and today we have a very serious video. On the 27th of December, a man by the name of Andrew Finch, 28 years old, was shot by police after a swatting call. This is going to be a very serious video where I express my thoughts on this tragedy. This first takes place in a Call of Duty match between a user named Miracle and Vaporizer. They were on the same team, and one of them got team killed, and that lost them the game. Miracle and Vaporizer started arguing with each other to the point where it got really heated. Unbelievably heated. Vaporizer threatened Miracle with a swatting. He then goes and contacts another user by the name of Swatistic, also known as Tyler Barris, who has in the past made several swatting calls and was responsible for the FCC bomb threat that happened when they were going to vote on the repeal of net neutrality. So with this in mind, it's needless to say he has a lot of experience in swatting people. So he knew exactly what to do when he was going to swat Miracle. Barris contacts Miracle and tries to get an address from him, and Miracle responds, taunting him with a fake address that is not his own, but very close to him. Miracle continues to egg him on, and Barris eventually spoofs his number and calls Wichita, Kansas local police. He got a hold of Kansas Dispatch, and he claimed he was holding his mother and his brother in his closet at gunpoint after shooting his father in the head. He also said that he poured gasoline all over the house and was willing to light the house on fire at any second. The full 911 call is in the description below. Please view at your own discretion. It is pretty disturbing. Well, he's on his phone with the police, the 911 operator, and as this call is going on, the police have arrived to the address that Barris provided them, and the police were pointing guns and a spotlight at the door. Andrew Finch then opens his door to see what's going on, is then ordered by police to raise his hands, and I guess under stress or under confusion, Andrew Finch raises his hands, then lowers them, and then raises them again, where he was subsequently shot by an officer one time and was pronounced dead 17 minutes later. Andrew Finch had nothing to do with the Call of Duty argument, and he didn't even play video games. He was enjoying a nice, quiet evening with his family, only to open his door to officers pointing guns at him, and that is the night that his life ended. A son and a father of two, at 28 years old, was shot and killed by a police officer, all on the basis of a hoax swatting call. At this point, I'm hesitating to call swatting a prank, because as swatting has shown in the past, and especially in this case, swatting can endanger the lives of other people, can cause extreme stress, confusion, and in this case, it caused the death of an innocent man. I think a lot of people are at fault here, but I'll get into that in a second. I first wanted to comment on the 911 call. I've listened to the entirety of it, and throughout the entire call, Barris has such an emotionless, such a remorseless tone to his voice. In a situation where he knows he is calling the cops, the SWAT team even, at a house that doesn't deserve it, he knows he is causing a huge amount of stress, of confusion. Even if the address is fake, even if it was Miracle's address, it is a sick and disgusting thing to call the police and make up a crime, make up a violent crime that requires the attention of the SWAT. It not only wastes resources, and it not only costs taxpayers money, but I think most importantly, it causes the family who is being swatted a lot of confusion, a lot of stress. It has gotten people hurt in the past, it has gotten people killed in the past, and Barris knows this. Yet he is so calm about it, so chill, to the point where it chilled my spine, sent shivers to my neck, hearing his voice so calmly, without any emotion, without any remorse, like he was just having a conversation. It's sick, it's disgusting, it's abhorrent, it's beyond words. I cannot describe it. The English language doesn't have enough words, enough adjectives to describe how terrible this tragedy is. My heart goes out to any family that has been swatted, and this family Andrew Finch's family in particular, because his life was lost over a hoax call, something he was never a part of, and his life was wasted. Now, it's very easy to blame the officers for killing Finch, but I think the blame shouldn't go to the officers. There's a lot more people to blame for this than just the simple person who pulled the trigger based on the information that he had at the time. Those officers were responding to what they thought was a hostage situation. They were fed information by a hoax call, which they didn't know was a hoax at the time. They were fed information that there was a hostage taker in the house who was holding a firearm and was willing to light the place on fire at any given second. In this kind of a situation, seconds count. Time matters. And while I feel like there could have been something done by the officers, whether it's give another warning, give another call out, something that could have been done to delay the pull of the trigger, I'm going to be a very honest hare here. I probably would have done the same exact thing based on the same information, the same situation. I probably would have done the same thing if I was a police officer. It would be just as easy to blame the officer that shot him to blame Andrew Finch himself. I watched the body cam video and I saw his hands were up, and then he clearly put them down. He clearly stopped raising his hands and then pulled them back up suddenly again. I could see the potential confusion these officers had, and the initiative that the cop took to shoot him was very risky, but it was a split-second decision that could possibly save lives. And again, in that kind of a situation, with that kind of a motion, you don't have time to think. You have time to react. In a split second, the person could have pulled out a match and lit the house up. In a split second, they could have pulled out a gun and wasted a cop's life. You know, there's a lot of things that can happen in a split second. And in that split second, it happened to be that the cop shot Andrew Finch. And for that reason, I don't particularly blame the officer. And don't get me wrong, I don't blame Andrew Finch either. I probably, under stress, would have freaked out, probably fainted. I don't know. I was just trying to make a point that it's very lazy to blame the officer for the killing, especially when there are bigger fish to fry. For starters, vaporizer, that's where the first blame should be. Vaporizer should have never put into his mind that a solution to the argument would be to swat somebody's house. That should never come into your mind while you're playing a video game and you lose a match. Whether it was a professional match, whether it was a casual match, whether it was a ranked match, I don't give a shit. That should not happen, ever. And Vaporizer should spend time in jail about that, because that is not okay. That's not okay. I hope he spends time behind bars for what he caused. Tyler Barris, too. He is a huge, huge reason Andrew Finch was killed. You know, if he never made that call, there would never be any officers there to shoot him. But Tyler Barris, being the swatter that he is, being disturbed, being fucked up in the head, he made the choice to call Kansas police. He effectively is responsible for any damages to property, damages to human life, damages to emotions after that point, because it is him causing the situation. I recently found out that Tyler Barris was arrested for the swatting call, and he is now in police custody in Los Angeles. Tyler Barris is a very, very sick, disgusting human being. I hope he's put away for a long, long, long time. He was recently interviewed by Keemstar on Drama Alert, and he still believes to a huge extent he was not responsible for Andrew Finch's death. He has no remorse. He has not shed a tear about Andrew Finch's life. He does not feel he did anything wrong, and that's despicable. That's sick. That is atrocious. It's sociopathic. You know, there's something wrong with Tyler Barris in his fucking head that he would do something like that and not feel anything about it afterwards. It's inhuman. I don't know how else to describe it. It's terrible. And finally, Miracle. Miracle probably had no bad intentions. He probably didn't have a single thought that somebody would die because of what he did. Otherwise, he probably would not have done it. He was thinking, probably based on videos of swatting he's seen in the past, where, nobody was hurt, but everyone was kind of shook up. He didn't probably think that someone would die over it. But a lot of the blame has to go to Miracle. He was the one that provided the address to Tyler Barris. And had he not done that, had he just said, yo, fuck off, dude, you're not gonna get my address, if he just said that, then I don't think Andrew Finch would be dead today. It was a mix of faults between these three people that caused the officer responsible of his death to shoot Andrew Finch. Based on the information provided, based on the situation the officers were in, I would like to argue that it was technically a justified killing, but there is no doubt in my mind that Miracle, Vaporizer, and especially Tyler Barris should all serve jail time for the death of Andrew Finch. Vaporizer should not have gotten so emotional to threaten somebody with swatting. Miracle, knowing the effects of swatting, knowing that it can shake people up, even hurt or kill people, should not have ever given anybody's address, regardless of the intent that he originally had. And Tyler Barris, of course, for making the call and pulling the proverbial trigger. The cops would not be there if Tyler Barris did not make that call. Even if Vaporizer continued to contact Tyler Barris, even if Miracle did give him the address, Tyler Barris was the one that made the call, the one that got the cops there, the one that got Andrew Finch killed. Barris did it for the attention, he did it for the news headlines. He got a kick out of causing stress, out of causing confusion, out of causing harm and death. This is somebody that should not be allowed to walk free in the streets, ever. This is not a sane individual, this is not a civil human being. And swatting is a big deal. It is not unknown to the police in every county, in every district. It is a very, very big issue in today's society. And nobody knows how to solve it. Nobody knows how to combat swatting. Some say 911 dispatchers should take the time and play detective and dissect the person's story and make sure that the person is calling about a crime that is truly happening before sending any police to the site. But the problem with this, while it can stop swatting, it increases response times from emergency services for the rest of us, for the people who don't swat, which is the majority of society. So in order to stop the select few cases of swatting, however horrendous they may be, it isn't worth costing an extra 10 minutes to get people to respond to crimes that could be happening. And in that regard, I think that 911 operators should take every word that the person is calling about very seriously and get the cops there as soon as possible. Because, at the end of the day, people deserve responsive cops. People deserve emergency services that get there as soon as they possibly can. Because at the end of the day, the majority of 911 calls are legit. Now, another solution is to train officers to not shoot when the person is fidgeting with their hands, when they aren't listening to the commands cops are giving them for their own safety and for the safety of everyone around them. Because, to be fair, based on the information the cops were provided, Andrew Finch was most likely somebody who had a match, a firearm, and hostages. 2 innocent lives were at stake, as well as the danger of, a house fire. And we also can't forget that the officers also want to come home to their families as well. So they have to do everything they can to stay alive. And if we take their power away to make the choice to have a justified shot when somebody isn't listening to their commands, whether it's keep your hands where I can see them, stop fidgeting, stop moving, get on the ground, if we take a cop's ability to control the situation away, there could be a lot more cops killed in the line of duty because suspects will know that cops can't just shoot them for not listening. I mean, it's a huge trade-off, give cops the control in the situation or give the suspect control in the situation. And because a majority of cops are good cops with, the hopes of keeping the streets clear from crime, to help their communities, to serve and protect, then I don't think that we should take the power to control the situation away from cops and give it to a potentially dangerous individual. The police officer who shot Andrew Finch made a decision to save the lives of the people inside, to save the lives of the police officers he was around, and to save his own life as well. Not to mention the insane property damage that could result from a house fire. I believe that based on the information that was present, the officer took control of the situation. Andrew Finch didn't leave his hands up, and he, shot Andrew Finch. Again, this isn't to put blame on Andrew Finch. He never deserved to die. He was innocent. He should not have been killed. But it was not the officer that should be fully responsible for his death. 90% of the blame should go to Tyler Barris, to Vaporizer, to Miracle. Maybe 10% for the officer actually pulling the trigger. But if we were to consider another situation where Andrew Finch was actually holding the hostage, was actually threatening to put a match down, anything could have happened in a split second where he put his hands back up after lowering them. He could have pulled out a gun, he could have pulled out the match, he could have, done something that could have cost the lives of other people. And that officer made a decision to take the life of Andrew Finch if it saved the lives of the officers, if it saved the lives of those in the house. And at the time, of course, nobody knew that it was a fake call. And it should not be assumed that every call that comes through dispatch is a fake call, because the majority of them are not, and they should be taken seriously. So it's really hard to come up with a solution that keeps cops in power of the situation, that keeps dispatchers staying serious with those that are calling in and not doubting their story, but also simultaneously reducing the incidence of swatting. And I don't have a solution. I have no clue how to solve an issue like this, other than, spread the word, vilify people that are actually doing the swatting. Don't encourage it on Twitch chat. Don't encourage it in game lobbies. Don't be a bystander. If somebody is threatening to swat somebody, speak up. Say something. Say, hey, don't fucking do that. People need to realize the risks of swatting, the situation that you're putting other people in, to have SWATs breach their house, to have officers outside their house pointing guns inside the house. It is a criminal thing to do to falsely call police at a location, and it's actually a felony if you make up a violent crime. Now, of course, just having laws against something doesn't prevent it from happening, and just because other people are getting arrested for something, obviously doesn't stop other people from doing it. So, there is no real solution as far as I know, as far as I can see. I wouldn't know how to stop swatting just as much as I don't know how to stop people from murdering each other. All I can say about it, and this is something I'll leave you guys with, is to bring awareness to swatting and awareness to the effects of swatting and how it can affect other people, how it can hurt other people, and even how it can kill other people. Please be proactive in the gaming community. If you see anybody threatening any other person about swatting or something, speak up. We as a community need to try as much as we can to stop swatting from happening. We're a strong community with really loud voices. We can bring awareness to this issue, and by having discourse, by spreading ideas, and by talking to each other, we can find some sort of solution to the issue of swatting. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to leave your thoughts down in the comments below, please feel free to do that. I would love to hear your guys' opinions, your guys' thoughts on the matter, and I'd love to talk to you guys about it. This topic, unlike any other of my thoughts videos, is a very serious issue, and I highly encourage you guys to go down in the comments below or to the comment sections of other people's videos that have topics relating to this one, and to talk to each other about it. So I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts, not the situation.